end crimes on sea. At the opening of a 5-day training and developing maritime security culture in the Gulf of Guinea, reference was made to Nigeria's maritime security architecture, which has obviously reduced crimes to just 4 within 9 months. Michael Olale reports.
At the close of the third technical rotating meeting of the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, delegates from 7 African countries agreed that regional agencies must institutionalize a framework for regular dialogue that can guarantee collaboration. This training, the 7th of its kind, is therefore translating policy statements into action by enhancing the knowledge of maritime security actors on strategies key in fighting maritime crimes.
It is our hope that it will provide a useful periscope through which you can view your mutual collaboration in ensuring maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea.
To indicate its resolve in ending crimes and offenses on Nigerian waterways, the Danish government appointed a Secretary on Maritime Security, with the Gulf of Guinea crucial in its agenda.
We also institute capacity training of the navies in both Ghana and Nigeria.
The training is built around understanding the peculiarities of the Gulf of Guinea with a view to improving awareness and responses.
The magnitude of most maritime crimes and their interconnectedness has necessitated calls for cooperatively framed responses.
Once this workshop is concluded, it will increase the number of trained personnel to 190, with participants cutting across 20 agencies in Nigeria.
A couple of weeks ago, Nigeria successfully prosecuted some pirates who had sought to hijack a ship. And the usage of that law have sent a signal to the world very clearly.
The Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center pledged to follow up the capacity development of other key players within the maritime ecospace. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NT News.
That's it from here. It's now back to Norlin in Abuja.
Very well, Hingino. And talking education now, the House of Representatives has commenced legislative process for the review of the Act establishing federal colleges of education. The review seeks to enable the federal colleges of education become degree-awarding institutions without having to affiliate with universities as is currently practiced. While debating the general principles of the bill, the Chairman House Committee on Tertiary Education and Services, Aminu Suleiman, says the review also seeks a 5-year single tenure for provost, as is obtained in tertiary institutions in Nigeria. The bill passed second reading and was referred to the relevant committee for further legislative action. The Chief Whip of the Senate, Orji Uzokalu, has reminded leaders in Nigeria to always remember that the essence and legacy of a good leadership is service to the people and not self-indulgence. He stated this when he granted audience to a group of student parliamentarians, where he also described the position of whip in the parliament as that of service to members. He advised the students to imbibe ethics of high moral standards, which will equip them to take up the mantle of leadership in future.
Politics, you must know you are going in to give service to people, because it's all about service. Forget about what you read in the newspaper. They tell you Senate is share. There's no money share in this Senate. Senate is a house where laws are made. It's also to drive good policies that will be able to turn Nigeria around to be economically viable. Policies are not just what you make for today. Policies are what you made that will stand the test of time for the people, of the people, and for the society.
In other news, the federal government has applauded the United States of America for removing Nigeria from its list of countries with religious freedom concerns, calling the decision fair and just. In a statement issued in Paris, France on Thursday, Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed reiterated his earlier stand when Nigeria was put on the list last year that Nigeria does not have a policy of religious persecution, saying Nigeria jealously protects religious freedom as enshrined in the country's constitution and takes seriously any infringements in that regard. The minister maintained that the federal government will continue to ensure that every Nigerian has the freedom to practice his or her unchosen religion or belief without hindrance, while commending religious leaders in the country who have been working to ensure religious harmony. The Nigerian Union of Teachers FCT chapter is in the news again as its members have embarked on a 5-day warning strike due to the non-implementation of the 30,000 naira minimum wage for the local education authority teachers by the 6 area councils. Hadiza Godwin-Ebune visited some schools in the FCT for a situation report.
October 2020, teachers in the FCT under the aegis of the FCT Council of Nigerian Union of Teachers began an indefinite industrial action due to unpaid minimum wage, which was suspended due to an agreement between the FCT Nigerian Union of Teachers and the 6 area council chairman promising to implement and make payment from January 2021.
Looking at all that was said in form of a report that was given to that meeting, considering the position of the area council chairman, their willingness to pay this money, and the intervention that is coming from FCTA, considering all of these things, we saw the need to suspend the strike.
Every avenue will be exhausted to make sure that this money they are asking about, which is legitimately theirs, area council chairman and all other sources of revenue and all other sources of getting this money must be followed to the letter.
The promise was not fulfilled as FCT schools have been shut down again. Students were asked to leave the school premises.
They were about to write notes. The teacher was about to come to the class, so they just came and told us we are on strike.
They told us in assembly that we are on strike.
It is hoped that within the 5 days meant for the warning industrial action, the issues arising will be resolved totally, as students are yet to recover from the national school closure in 2020 due to COVID-19 pandemic. Hadiza Godwin-Ebune, NTA News.
Next is Sokoto, and Asmao is our guide. Hello, Asmao.
Hello, Nolin. Good evening and welcome to Sokoto on Nationwide. Recent banditry attack in some villages of Ilela local government has claimed the lives of 43 people and 3 are still missing, while some escaped with injuries as a result of gunshots. This came to the fore as Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal paid condolence visit to the families of the deceased and the people of Ilela local government over the tragic incidents. The latter Abdullahi has more.
The attack by unknown gunmen occurred last Sunday night and Monday evening in 6 villages. The villages include Masasa, Muadata, Tabkintaraunia, Runji, Kalmalu, and Tumbulung. Tambuwal was accompanied on the condolence visit by members of the State Executive Council and Security Council. They were briefed by the Ilela local government chairman, Aliyu Salihu, who said the affected villages are located along the same area. Condoling the government and the people of Ilela local government, Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal said he was shocked on receiving the bad news about the tragic attack by armed bandits. He added that the attack was not a small occurrence, emphasizing that the incident really touched the government and the entire people of Sokoto State. While pledging sustained government assistance, Tambuwal noted that what security operatives require is the public support through the provision of urgent information on the movement of criminals to guarantee proactive response. Tambuwal stated that the state government is closely working with the federal government toward ending banditry in the state. Ilela and the Goronyo local governments are the worst hit areas by banditry in the last 2 months. In Sokoto, Talatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Sokoto State has received a team of physicians of medical charity. Sheikh Muhammad Dati reports that the team comprised members of physicians across continent on humanitarian medical tour.
The team of physicians across the continent were in Sokoto as part of its humanitarian service tour in Africa. It is a charity organization established 17 years ago with headquarters in London. The team leader, Dr. Sada Al-Garni, said the medical charity offers care for all mankind with emphasis on disaster and other humanitarian services.
We work in more than 40 countries all over the world. Africa, maybe 65%, Middle East, far South Asia, as well as Middle Asia and other places.
Governor Amin Waziri Tambol describes the medical charity offered by the team of physicians as a clear demonstration of the Islamic teachings to the entire human race without discrimination. He believed that the indigenous physicians will continue after the visiting team leaves.
We appeal to our people to come out and take advantage of these excellent services that one can hardly get even with his money.
The team of physicians also visited the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar. The leader of the team briefed the Sultan on their visit to Sokoto. Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar appreciated the team for their humanitarian services and prayed Allah to reward them.
In my 15 years as Sultan, this is the largest number of medical personnel we ever received coming to support us in this type of charity work.
The physicians were in Sokoto on the invitation of the Zakat and Endowment Commission led by Muhammad Lawal Medoki. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Dati, NTA News.
And that is our package from Sokoto. We'll take a short break and Nationwide will continue thereafter in Benin. Good evening.
A Game of Kings is finally here. Watch the battles to beat all battles live. La Liga's Roberto Carlos and Premier League's John Terry will be going head-to-head while playing alongside our very own MPFL players. So come join us on NTA Network and Budweiser's social media network on Saturday, November 20th at exactly 12 p.m.
Niger, it's on. Game of Kings is brought to you by Budweiser, the official sponsors of the EPL and the Liga.
I'm the co-president engineer and project supervisor of the second Niger Bridge project. The second Niger Bridge project is a project that has been conceived for a very long time, but it has finally come to life during this present administration. This project has a lot of socio-economic benefits, and it has impacted positively on the lives of the host communities, both in Anambra State and Delta State. The people are very happy. The host communities, they partnered with us because apart from the social benefits, individuals are also employed on this project. We can see how their lives are being improved.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
The Budweiser Game of Kings is finally here. Watch the battles to beat all battles live. La Liga's Roberto Carlos and Premier League's John Terry will be going head-to-head while playing alongside our very own MPFL players. So come join us on NTA Network and Budweiser's social media network on Saturday, November 20th at exactly 12 p.m.
Niger, it's on. Game of Kings is brought to you by Budweiser, the official sponsors of the EPL and the Liga.
Thank you for staying on Nationwide. This is Benin Network Center. Putting an end to the challenges of banditry and evolving more proactive ways to defend the nation's sovereignty, especially territorial waters in the South-South, were the concerns raised by Governor of Edo State and the Oba of Benin. This was a request to the Chief of Defense Staff, General Loki Irabo, who was in Benin, Edo State, for an operational visit to military formations in the state. Ivie Oyahiri reports.
The frequent cases of insurgency across the country has been a source of worry to all. The Oba of Benin, Oba Ewaye II, is one of those worried about the increase in crimes, banditry and the likes. With the track records of the Chief of Defense Staff, the monarch is hopeful that there will be visible improvement in that regard soon. The Chief of Defense Staff's team also visited Governor Gordon Obaseki. Here, the governor also made an appeal.
See how you can give additional support to patrol that waterway, checkmate the activities of the criminals who come into the mix. We also have roads towards the whole axis where some cannabis growers are coming and just taking over certain sections of our forests.
The defense chief, who was commended by the governor and the monarch, speaks.
We are pupilled by Nigerians and remain committed to constitutional mandates. We do not at this point think that Nigerians should make disparaging remarks regarding the interests of Nigeria in the sense that we are a professional armed forces.
To ensure that there is development in the security sector, General Lucky Rabo is appealing to Nigerians to provide useful information to the military to help salvage any situation that may arise. In Benin, Ivie Uyahiri, NTA News. And the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is committed to ensuring that every Nigerian child, irrespective of socioeconomic, physical and psychological conditions, has unhindered access to quality basic education. Minister of Education, Malam Adamu was speaking at a joint meeting of Management of Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, and Chairman of State Universal Basic Education Boards, SUBEBs. Eugene BC has details of the meeting in Benin.
Over the years, the meeting of UBEC management with the executive chairman of SUBEBs has helped in bringing together stakeholders across the 36 states and the FCT to discuss basic education implementation in Nigeria, assess progress, challenges, and preferred solutions. The Minister of Education, represented by the Director, Basic and Secondary Education, Dr. Falake Olatunji David, said the federal government is doing its best through several intervention programs and initiatives to reduce the number of out-of-school children in the country and bringing intelligent and committed hands into the system.
The administration of President Muhammadu Buhari this year places high premium on the education of the Nigerian child in their development, their effort to move towards sustainability, ensure that every Nigerian child has the opportunity to receive high education.
Other stakeholders lauded efforts of UBEC in its support to ensure equitable and quality basic education among children of school age in Nigeria and commended Edo for its giant strides in the subsector. The team embarked on inspection tour to some projects of UBEC in Benin. Eugenia Ndubisi, NTA News.
That's it here. Nolin, it's back to you.
Thank you very much. President Muhammadu Buhari has signed the climate change bill passed by the National Assembly. Thomas Obetere reports that this was made known by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria. The SSA to the President, alongside other guests, analyzed the just concluded COP26 in Glasgow, Scotland.
The first time that the President has just signed the climate change bill passed by the National Assembly, issuing a statement perhaps later today.
Signing of the Nigerian's climate change bill is among key decisions taken in line with the resolution at the just concluded COP26 in Glasgow for 2 weeks. World leaders and stakeholders across the world gathered at the 26th United Nations Climate Change Conference get towards reducing greenhouse gas emission so as to keep temperatures from rising to more dangerous level and also find concrete solutions to keep the world at under 1.5 degrees Celsius of warming above pre-industrial levels. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria are of the opinion that world leaders must stop playing politics and paying lip service to the issue of climate change.
All the promises put all together, and that means if the promises are fulfilled, we are going on a trajectory of 2.4, which is really, really disastrous.
You have to massage the egos of some countries, particularly China. They are the major pollutant. They pollute the environment more than any other country in the world, but yet they are not into it.
They insist deliberate plans and mechanisms to mitigate the effect of climate change must be taken immediately.
Those who are responsible for the pollution should do more. They do their fair share. So you see African nations struggling, nations including Nigeria struggling to do a lot, whereas those who are really polluting are looking for ways to avoid action and place the burden on poor countries. So,
people are cutting down trees in order to cook food and warm their homes. That is even more devastating than some of the things that are being said.
Guests also called for more budgetary allocation for the Ministry of Environment. In Abuja, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
And talking about weather condition, latest update on the Harmattan dust haze season released by the Nigeria Meteorological Agency, NIMET, indicates that dust is expected to be raised at a high intensity at Fire Lagu in Chad Republic, which is a major dust source for Nigeria and West Africa. The dust is expected to significantly reduce visibility values in the extreme northern part of Nigeria, including Maiduguri, Kano, Katsina, and Sokoto. NIMED advises motorists to drive with caution due to the poor visibility. It also advises the public, especially in the affected states, to prevent dehydration and heat strokes by drinking water during the day and keeping warm at night when temperatures are expected to be low. Abuja and parts of north-central Nigeria may continue to witness rainfall until end of November, which has not happened in the past 7 years. Adebola Brucelin Sunday takes a look at this unusual weather variation and its impact.
Nigeria, no doubt, has one of the best climatic conditions globally, although the temperature in Nigeria is not without its own fluctuations, being high in dry seasons as expected and relatively low in wet seasons. The rainy season normally lasts only 4 months, from June to September, sometimes to October in the southeast, which is the wettest area. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, had earlier predicted that from 11th to 13th November, the weather will be partly cloudy in Abuja and parts of Benue, Plateau, Nasarawa, and Kogi states, with a possibility of light rains.
We have seen a lot of variabilities, which is not uncommon or not unexpected because of the nature of the global climatic changes.
One of the characteristics of climate change is that it has made prediction more difficult. The weather has become less predictable than it used to be.
The former Director General did not rule out the natural climatic orientation.
This year is a La Nina year because in climate prediction we have El Nino and La Nina. In the La Nina year, it's likely to be higher than normal rainfall in some areas.
At a point in time, the nation was gradually experiencing the dry Harmattan before the variation.
If there are organisms that thrive under such high moisture, then it's likely that they may persist for a longer time than usual.
Observers say late planters have nothing to worry about as the situation is to their advantage and also great for dry season farmers as it will ease the stress of constant irrigation of farms. Adebola Brucelin Sunday, NTA News.
Weights and Measures Department of the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment says it is determined to ensure fairness in the measurements of goods to facilitate equitable trade. To this end, a surveillance team has been dispatched to crack down on cooking gas outlets shortchanging customers in Abuja. Musa Abubakar reports.
Members of Weight and Measures Department surveillance team are on ground to inspect cooking gas outlets in Abuja metropolis. After inspecting several outlets, some were found guilty of under-dispensing the product to the public and sale for shortchanging customers.
They are under-dispensing to members of the public, not less than 1.5 kg. If you are buying 12.5 kg LPG, what they are selling to you is 11. So they are taking away 1.5, which is a lot. It's against the Weights and Measures Act. Any outlet that engages in such thing must be sanctioned.
They don't measure the empty cylinder before they are filled, and when sometimes they finish filling them, they're supposed to measure them again. They don't measure again.
Vivian Okoro, a customer, said such sharp practice is taking toll on the public, adding to the sufferings from increasing price of cooking gas.
Yeah, so I think the owners of the gas company should look into it.
The inspection is to continue with the objective to ensure customers get precise value for money as well as fairness in the measurement of goods. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
Osun State Police Commissioner Olawale Olokode says progress is being made on the investigation of the death of a student of Obafemi Awolowo University, Timothy Adegoke. The student of Masters in Business Administration at OAU Ile-Ife, Osun State, was said to have lodged at the Hilton Hotel, Ile-Ife, for the period of his examination when he was declared missing. He was later traced to the hotel and his corpse recovered were buried. The police commissioner says the chairman of the hotel, who is also the founder of Oduduwa University, Ile-Ife, Dr. Ramon Adedoyin, and 6 others are in detention for interrogation. He also confirmed that the autopsy report from the hospital is being expected. Presidential think tank on defense and security is upscaling measures to protect Nigeria's critical infrastructure, monument and business assets. Member of the think tank, Dick Erunabere, disclosed this at a press briefing in Abuja preparatory to its summit slated for December.
The protection of critical assets is not only a government responsibility. The business owners, the property owners, the operators, then the society in general is also part of the assets. So it is on that basis that we're organizing this summit so that the society can reduce vulnerabilities of the nation's critical national assets to threats and hazards on the one hand, and also on the other hand, improving the resilience of such critical national infrastructure by strengthening their ability, to withstand and recover from disruptions.
He said the summit is aimed at improving the surveillance on critical national infrastructure by strengthening the ability to withstand and recover from disruption amongst other national objectives. The United States Army Medical Research Directorate Africa, Nigeria, is to upscale its support to the Nigerian Army Armed Forces in the quest to stem infectious diseases. This was at the Ministry of Defense Health Implementation Program in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
Forces are in more than 30 states participating in different internal security operations to stem criminality. To boost their morale, the Ministry of Defense has for the past 16 years developed a partnership with the United States Army Medical Research Directorate to upscale healthcare service delivery in and around military barracks.
This meeting will once again highlight the commitment and dedication of the Ministry of Defense Health Implementation Program towards strengthening the HIV prevention, care, and treatment, as well as providing supportive services to the military personnel, their families, and civilians.
Over the 16 years of partnership fighting infectious diseases, you had some great success, and there's great success to be had in the future as well.
This program for commanders and side leaders of armed forces healthcare facilities, organized by the Ministry of Defense Health Implementation Program, is aimed at building the capacity of these service providers across the country.
We are in the barrack represented by Ministry of Defense Health Implementation Program to ensure, prevent, treat our colleagues who are the combatants who are involved in the defense of the territorial integrity of this country.
The event will also review the Ministry of Defense Health Implementation Program. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And still talking health, Nigerian citizens have been urged to voluntarily donate blood to save lives of other persons in need of blood for survival. Kenneth Nanim reports that the National Orientation Agency and the National Blood Service Commission have signed a memorandum of understanding to intensify campaigns on voluntary safe blood donation.
The campaign on voluntary donation of safe blood to save lives has been ongoing in Nigeria. To sustain the tempo and create more awareness on the benefits, the National Orientation Agency is collaborating with the National Blood Service Commission to drive the message home.
We must assist our brothers and sisters to survive. I'm not providing blood. Blood must be provided in safe quality.
Please voluntarily donate blood because you will be saving lives as you do. And the ours is to take these messages to all nooks and the crannies of the country.
Nathan John has voluntarily donated blood for the 68th times and joins the campaign to allay fears on certain perceived misgivings.
The youth should come out and give blood voluntarily and do what they can do.
Even if you are not able to donate yourself or you have been declared that you are not fit to donate today, you can be a voice.
The Nigerian Medical Association also used the opportunity to urge government and other relevant authorities to step up action in closing the infrastructure gap in the National Blood Service Commission for effective service delivery. The two organizations are on the same page with regards to sustaining the campaign, especially in the rural communities. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is expected in Nigeria today on the second leg of his three-nation tour of Africa to discuss issues on furthering cooperation on global health, security, expanding energy access and economic growth, as well as revitalizing democracy. Let's get some details of this visit from Justin Bemui.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken's first visit to sub-Saharan Africa was intended to be a grand gesture of American support for the continent. Antony Blinken had visited Kenya on the first leg as he met President Uhuru Kenyatta in Nairobi to discuss topics including cooperation on ending the COVID-19 pandemic and regional security issues such as Ethiopia, Somalia, and Sudan. Now, he is in Nigeria where he is scheduled to meet with President Muhammadu Buhari, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, and Foreign Minister Jeffrey Onyema and discuss security, energy access, and economic growth. The top U.S. diplomat is on his first trip to sub-Saharan Africa, where he is looking to champion President Joe Biden's key priorities of promoting democracy, fighting both climate change and the COVID-19 pandemic. In the course of the visit, the U.S. Secretary of State is expected to deliver a speech on U.S.-Africa policy in the capital of Africa's largest democracy. He will also engage Nigerian entrepreneurs in the digital sector. Ahead of this visit, the United States had removed Nigeria from the list of countries engaged in or tolerated systematic, ongoing, and egregious violations of religious freedom. United States is the largest foreign investor in Nigeria, with U.S. foreign direct investment concentrated largely in the petroleum, mining, and wholesale trade sectors. Nigeria is the second largest U.S. export destination in sub-Saharan Africa. The United States and Nigeria have a bilateral commercial investment dialogue led by the Department of Commerce and was last convened at the ministerial level in February 2020. In 2019, the two-way trade in goods between the United States and Nigeria is over $10 billion. U.S. exports to Nigeria include wheat, vehicles, machinery, kerosene, lubricating oils, jet fuel, civilian aircraft, and plastics. Nigerian exports to the United States include crude oil, cocoa, cashew nuts, and animal feed. Nigeria is eligible for preferential trade benefits under the African Growth and Opportunity Act. Justin Bentley, NTA News.
Issues bordering on local government autonomy, good governance, and socio-economic development of the rural areas dominate discussions as heads of local government administration in the 774 council area converged in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. Kelvin Samuel was there and now reports.
Heads of local government administration of Nigeria had in attendance members from across the 774 local government areas and the Federal Capital Territory, who converged to discuss issues affecting the local government system with a view to finding implementable solutions, especially in the area of prompt payment of salaries and the local government financial autonomy.
The local government, it seems, has been neglected for quite a long time. Now we want to make sure with their help, local government will get autonomy.
Declaring the event open, the governor of Akwa Ibom State, represented by the head of civil service, Effiong Essien, noted that his administration will continue to partner the third tier of government to better the lot of the people at the grassroots. Speakers at the conference dwelled extensively on professionalism, future of local government administration in Nigeria, varied local government system in Nigeria, a panacea for national security. In Uyo, Kevin Samuel, NTA News.
The National Festival of Arts and Culture, Ekiti NIFEST 2021, is providing platforms for entrepreneurship development through free skills acquisition that would make youth self-reliant and contribute to economic development of the nation. So it is not just giving them fish to feed on for a day, but teaching them to fish and live for a lifetime, as they are being exposed to different skills at the ongoing NIFEST at the State Civic Center, Ado Ekiti. Ayodeji Ogunshake reports.
Eluni Uluwameyiwa is a student who believes in skill acquisition that could make her self-reliant and as well change the narrative of overdependence on white-collar job. The free skill acquisition and opportunity provided by NAFEST is, however, a blessing to make her dream a reality.
We can make money with our hands, we can with our creativity. Like if those that you know that your passion is into drawing, you can draw anything, and from there the money will be entering.
Participants were exposed to training on fashion designing, turning waste to wealth, hairdressing, makeup, among other skills that could take youth out of the labor market and as well make the nation economically independent.
We must be cautious to understand that our youth need attention. What we have done here is to also imbibe the spirit of the youth in NAFEST.
The NAFEST also provided opportunity for students from different
a paradigm shift that National Festival for Art and Culture is beyond dancing.
Meanwhile, various states also exhibited their arts and crafts, while traders are making use of the opportunity provided by NAFES to maximize profits. From Ado-Ekiti, Ayode Jogunshaki, NT News.
And that concludes Nationwide. Thank you for being part of it. Do remember to join NTA to fight against rape and rapists. I am Nolin Ebel Ame. Good evening.